It's Thursday, July 6th, and this is now on HNN. An investigation is launched after Maui hunters find human remains wrapped in plastic. A live report from the Valley Isle just ahead.
An apparent mid-flight bomb threat forces a Maui-bound plane to divert to Oakland.
I can stay active and healthy and with it.
Full FDA approval for a breakthrough Alzheimer's drug. I'm Bradley Blackburn with how it's already helping some people living with the disease.
The plan is working.
President Biden admits there's still work left to be done to tamp down inflation, but he's optimistic about the state of the nation's economy. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House with his latest message.
If only 1 in 10 Instagram users tries using Threads, it's overtaken Twitter.
These stories, plus Instagram's 2 billion users, have a new way to communicate. A look at the new Threads app and what it means for Twitter. Coming up on This Is Now. Aloha and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us right here on This Is Now. Maui police are investigating after hunters made a gruesome discovery in a remote area of Kula late yesterday afternoon.
For the latest details in this, we're joined live by Chelsea Davis from Maui. Chelsea, we know you've been talking to MPD all morning. What can you tell us?
Well, Dylan Ash, I'm at the Maui Police Department headquarters here in Wailuku, where detectives are currently piecing together that information. I did speak with police officials this morning, and they have confirmed with me that hunters discovered the possible and what's believed to be human remains wrapped in plastic in Kula yesterday. Now, this is the details that we know so far. The call came in around 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Officers responded to a property off Keanuhea Street in Kula. This is the Waikele Hawaiian homelands. Detectives and crime scene technicians from the Criminal Investigation Division, also known as CID, arrived on scene around 5 p.m. to conduct the investigation, which remains active right now. While I was up there yesterday, they had the scene secured and blocked off from the intersection of Keanuhea Street and Koila'aha Street. There were several police vehicles, both marked and unmarked, that I saw, as well as ambulances and fire trucks. Now, police aren't releasing much details at this time. As I mentioned, detectives are currently piecing together the investigation, but they said as soon as details become available, they will let us know, and of course we'll let you folks know on air and online. That's the latest from Maui. I'll send it back to you, Dylan and Ash.
Thank you so much for that live report, Chelsea. I want to ask you a quick question. We understand it's in a very remote area and you weren't able to get very close to the scene. Can you tell us a little bit more about the area the remains were found? How far is it from the main road?
Yes, exactly. So as I mentioned, this is in the upcountry area of Maui. So in Kula, also known as the Waikele Hawaiian homelands, and there is a community there, but like you mentioned, it is really remote. The homes, of course, are spread out. And so that area specifically off Keanuhea Street, it was dark. And as I mentioned, I was pushed back to where police ended up securing the road and had the intersection blocked off. But what I could see when I was up there was a gate, which tells me that that's private property. And I did see a lot of investigators, detectives going in and out of that gated area. So I'm not exactly sure how large that property is, but I know officers and detectives and investigators were out there for a very long time. So it's an entirely wooded area. I am going to head up there right now and try to talk to some neighbors, some residents who live in the area who could possibly tell me a little bit more about that property. And again, as soon as I find out, I'll let you folks know right here on air and online as well.
Our Chelsea Davis keeping an eye on it all on Maui. Chelsea, thank you so much for your reporting.
And now let's take a look at some of the other big headlines from today. Two men are hospitalized after being brutally attacked with a machete in Kalihi overnight. Honolulu police responded to a robbery call at around 12:15 a.m. on Linapuni Street. Officials say two men ages 53 and 43 were attacked by multiple assailants. One suspect used a machete. According to authorities, it was reported that after the assault, the suspect stole a vehicle and fled the scene. One victim suffered severe lacerations to his head and back, and another man had contusions to his head and a cut to his arm. Both were taken to the hospital in serious but stable condition. No arrests have been made, and the suspect is unknown at this time.
On Hawaii Island, police say a young man died after lighting an illegal firework. They say 20-year-old Glenn John Nakata of Kailua Kona was killed. It happened in the parking lot of the Makalapua shopping center at around 10:30 p.m. Witnesses said he was holding a launcher above his head when it went off. He was rushed to the hospital with a substantial head wound, but was pronounced dead just before midnight.
We believe it is an illegal firework. Just to remind the public, for times like this, enjoy the holidays, but remember to be safe. We do have rules, regulations, and laws in place, especially regarding fireworks.
Police have ordered an autopsy and are asking anyone who may have witnessed the July 4th incident to come forward. Besides the death in Kona, Hawaii County responded to about 40 fireworks-related calls during the holiday.
A Southwest flight heading from Las Vegas to Maui was diverted due to a bomb threat. This morning, the FAA confirmed to Hawaii News Now that there was a security incident on board. SF Gate reports that someone sent the threat via airdrop on Monday. A flight attendant and others reportedly got the threatening picture on their phones. One Maui resident said the pilot announced that they were landing in Oakland due to a mechanical issue, but a sheriff's officer boarded the plane upon landing. Canines searched the cabin and passengers had to leave all luggage behind, and no bomb was found. But passengers had to deal with a 6-hour delay. An investigation is underway, and Southwest told us, quote, "Safety is our guiding focus, and we're grateful for patience and understanding during this delayed journey to Hawaii."
Well, the men who stole thousands of dollars worth of power tools from the Iwilei Home Depot on Tuesday didn't seem to care that they were being watched and recorded. The two were wearing masks while cutting the lock and loading up their carts while bystanders rolled on their cell phones. Witnesses say no employees tried to stop them as they casually walked out. A Home Depot manager told us the store's policy is not to confront suspects but to call the police instead. Retail experts say the judicial system is too lenient on these thieves.
And what we're seeing, especially some local businesses, which is not funny, but they will blast it on social media. Look what happened to my store. We got robbed. These are the people. But they don't make a police report, and they can't understand why the police are not going after these people.
HPD confirmed that Home Depot did contact them and a second-degree theft case has been filed. So far at last check, no arrests have been made. And meanwhile, in Waikele, authorities are seeking the public's help in locating 3 suspects who blatantly stole from there. Police released surveillance video on Wednesday of the incident that happened on May 30th. Officials said 3 women worked together to hide clothing and goods in their shoulder bags and even stuffed clothing into a large trash bags. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers. Their number, 955-8300.
HPD Officer Ernest Alixa has been arrested. He's accused of trying to contact an ex-girlfriend multiple times in recent days. That woman has a restraining order against him and says he threatened her. The trial of Thomas Garner continues today. He's accused of killing 25-year-old Kathy Hicks in 1982. Her body was found by joggers along Nu'uanupali Drive. Evidence was entered into a national database, and in 2021, it connected Garner's DNA to the crime. So far, police, along with forensic and DNA experts, have been called to testify at the trial. Garner is already serving a life sentence in Florida for another woman's murder. We'll bring you any details as they come in. Now to an update new at noon. Honolulu Crime Stoppers says Nolan Radoblay has been located. Authorities say the 69-year-old man who suffers from dementia was found this morning at 1:10 a.m. in the Liliha area. He was seen last Wednesday afternoon outside a building at the Queens Medical Center. Investigators say he never showed up for his doctor's appointment. Officials say he is now safe with his family and friends. At least 4 people were killed during a Russian missile strike on the Ukrainian city of Lviv, marking the biggest attack on the city's infrastructure since the war began last year. Kobia has more.
Rescue crews were searching throughout the day at the site of this 4-story apartment building at the heart of Lviv, that western city in Ukraine, hit by 3 missiles overnight. The Ukrainian military say that 10 missiles in all were fired at around 1 o'clock in the morning from Russian positions in the Black Sea, initially heading straight north, then taking a sharp turn to the west and heading for Lviv. 7 of them were shot down, but 3 sadly fell, one of them striking that apartment building in the heart of the city center. The city's mayor said that in some cases, roofs were completely blown off homes in that apartment building. Dozens of apartments and homes completely destroyed, cars destroyed as well, windows blown out in neighboring buildings. And because it happened at 1 o'clock in the morning, many people were still sleeping. There's a shelter nearby, but a regional official said that only 5 people were in that shelter after the air raid siren sounded. President Zelensky responding to this attack, saying that there will be a strong response from Ukraine. Ukraine calling this yet another war crime, saying this was clearly a strike on a civilian area. No comment yet from the Russian Ministry of Defense. Kelly Kobia, NBC News, Kyiv, Ukraine.
The White House is taking its economic message on the road today, with President Biden touting his administration's achievements in South Carolina. This comes as the U.S. Treasury Secretary takes an international trip to China. Skylar Henry reports.
Hello, South Carolina.
President Biden greeted workers at the Flex manufacturing facility in South Carolina. A new partnership with Enphase Energy is projected to create 600 jobs there and twice that many throughout the country.
Our plan is working. And one of the things I'm proudest of is working everywhere, not just in the coast and big cities.
The White House is pushing its economic policies as resilient in the face of both inflation and congressional Republican opposition. GOP South Carolina Senator Tim Scott, who's campaigning to take President Biden's job, slammed his economic plan.
Every single month since he's been in office, except for one, inflation outpacing increases in wages. We've done better. We can do better.
The president also touted his administration's work to get both the Inflation Reduction Act and the CHIPS and Science Act turned into law, plus creating and returning more jobs to the U.S.
That includes investing more than $52 billion in semiconductor research and development and guardrails to stop companies from building related facilities in China. This comes as Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is on a sensitive trip to Beijing. She hopes to ease the current tense relationship and spur healthy economic competition between the two superpowers. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Well, the company behind the fatal implosion of a submersible near the Titanic wreckage is suspending operations. OceanGate announced Thursday all exploration and commercial operations have been put on hold. The news comes weeks after its Titan submersible imploded, killing all 5 people on board. Officials believe the sub suffered a catastrophic implosion that instantaneously killed the crew. The cause remains under investigation by the Transportation Safety Board of Canada. The ill-fated voyage was OceanGate's submersible's 3rd trip to the Titanic remains and costs about $250,000 per traveler.
New at noon, the FDA has given full approval to a landmark drug to treat Alzheimer's disease. Patients and their families have been pushing for approval of the medication, which has shown some promise in delaying the disease. Bradley Blackburn has more.
79-year-old Susie Mitchell is living with the early symptoms of Alzheimer's disease with help from a drug called Leqembi.
I can stay active and healthy and with it.
A few months ago, with the diagnosis of mild cognitive decline, she started receiving infusions. Her husband, Tom, says her symptoms have stayed the same, which to them is a real victory.
I don't think there's been any change between even the first of the year and now.
In January, the FDA fast-tracked the approval of Leqembi, which targets plaques in the brain associated with Alzheimer's. A clinical trial with 1,800 participants tested the drug against a placebo and found it can slow cognitive decline by 27%, effectively delaying the disease by about 5 months. But more than 1 in 10 users had brain swelling or bleeding, and 3 patients died.
Without insurance, Lakembe costs more than $26,000 a year, but full FDA approval could expand coverage, including for up to 1 million Medicare patients with early cases of Alzheimer's.
We do know that there are a lot of third-party payers who are now having to strongly consider how they're going to pay and provide access to this particular drug.
Mitchell hopes more patients like her can receive the medication.
I feel like I can keep up and live my life the way I want to live my life.
Grateful for a treatment that gives her time and hope. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
If you have Hawaiian Telcom, several TV channels will be blacked out until further notice. This comes as the service provider tries to negotiate a new contract with Nexstar Media, the largest broadcasting company in the country. Hawaiian Tel has filed an FCC complaint against Nexstar, which owns KHON2 News, My Network, and the CW. Hawaiian Tel says Nexstar is using aggressive negotiating tactics, including blackouts and raising prices nearly 5 times higher than Hawaii's inflation rate. Nexstar's contract with Hawaiian Telcom expired on June 30th. We've reached out to Nexstar for comment and are awaiting a response.
Casey Lund takes us to Oahu's North Shore today, where he's learning more about sharks after a string of sightings in recent months.
We set out with the folks from Ocean Outfitters Hawaii. Kevin Wilson owns this boat. This is unique. It goes really fast. He takes tours about 3 miles off the shores of Haleiwa to an area where sharks are known to hang out. They're Galapagos sharks, of course, not the tiger sharks, although there are tiger sharks out here. We wanted to know if some of those recent shark sightings on the South Shore and other places have impacted his business.
Some of that did affect our business a little bit, for sure. The tigers will show up out here, you know, but as our safety diver, we have a lot of safety divers that come out and help us out and watch over all the people when we do it. So they act differently when we're out 3 miles out. The tigers are very mellow too. They're not that shark. They don't want anything to do with us.
Safety is paramount with Ocean Outfitters Hawaii. Really, all the tour companies here on the North Shore work to make sure their guests are safe and comfortable, and they take that very seriously here on this boat.
When we get in the water with these guys, we just want to be mellow. We want to be relaxed. The sharks can definitely feel your energy. If you're calm, they're going to be calm and they're just going to be cruising around with you. We get in the water, we're just going to slide in the back of the boat. We're not going to jump, no big splashes, no crazy movements in the water, just relax, chill. The sharks are curious. Sometimes they're not being aggressive. Every once in a while, they're going to swim towards you. Generally, they're going to turn around before they get 4 or 5 feet away. But if they are swimming towards you, all you're going to do is extend your foot out towards them, and they're going to turn around a little bit quicker.
Finally, it was my time to get in the water. I geared up and dove right in.
For people's reactions when they first get in, I mean, we got our safety divers there. Even people are excited. They love doing this, and it's a change for everybody. You know, normally they're on a rope, but today we're putting Casey in without the rope. He's doing it naturally, like how it should be done.
Can you ask Casey what he's been seeing in the water since he's been out there?
Yeah. Casey, what have you been seeing down there, buddy?
See 2 pretty big Galapagos sharks. I don't know if you're able to see the shot here that we have, but yeah, dude, it's awesome. And you really get the sense that they're not really there to bother you or to eat you.
Yeah, they're very different. Much more mellow shark, docile shark, like a nurse shark. So yeah, it's definitely a new thing that everybody wants to do. And yeah, it's kind of changed us a little bit, but we're still going.
The water, for the most part, was very smooth, as you can see. It usually is in the morning, but with all the busyness of doing live TV, I found myself just a little seasick. So we're going to head back to dry land. We'll send things back into the studio for now.
Swimming with sharks, the top of Coco Head. Casey is having a busy week this week. My goodness. He's so brave for jumping into the water there. And it was beautiful weather. As you can see, this is a live look out over Punch Bowl. For more on your island forecast, let's send it over to our Ben Gutierrez.
We're going to be in this pattern where we'll have morning showers, afternoon clearer skies and drier conditions. That's going to repeat all the way into the weekend. We might still see a few high clouds moving into the picture as we head into Sunday. So your 7-day forecast is calling for those trades getting a little bit stronger, 15 to 20 miles per hour. We'll have a possibility of more showers Monday and Tuesday for Windward and Mauka areas, thanks to former Hurricane Adrian's moisture moving into our neighborhood.
Thank you so much, Ben. Time to check out some news from the feed. Threads. Well, there is a new social media platform that is now competing with the controversial Twitter.
That's right. You probably heard about it. Meta launched Threads. It's a near replica of Twitter powered by Instagram. And this happens as the rivalry between the tech billionaires Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk heats up. Here's Danya Backus with the details.
Smartphone users everywhere have a new social media option. Instagram, known for pictures and quick videos, now has a new app called Threads that looks a lot like Twitter. Here, you can see Threads on the left and Twitter on the right.
Strategically, intentionally, unashamedly similar to Twitter.
Instagram users can link their current account to the new app and follow the same people.
Instagram has 2 billion users compared to around 250 million of Twitter. So if only 1 in 10 Instagram users tries using Threads, it's overtaken Twitter in the blink of an eye.
Threads is one of several competitors for Elon Musk's Twitter, including Blue Sky from Twitter co-founder Jack Dorsey. Musk is also facing backlash for recent changes.
Since Elon Musk took over, the system itself isn't working as well as it should. Just over the weekend, we saw Twitter go down and then limits put in place for users so that it doesn't break the servers again.
Instagram is part of Meta. Its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, and Musk have sparred online, recently agreeing to a cage match. In a new jab from Zuckerberg, as Threads was released, he went on Twitter and posted a picture of 2 Spider-Mans pointing at each other, apparently admitting to the platform's similarity. We'll see soon which version people prefer. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Ash, have you downloaded Threads yet?
I've not, but now I'm intrigued.
It's very easy. You just link it as if it were your Instagram. Very, very simple. Okay. I still don't know how it works, though.
I didn't like Twitter from the start, so.
Yeah, it's same, actually. Let's go ahead and check out some good news now. Now, over the weekend, a young boy in Connecticut was unfortunately the victim of a mean-spirited prank. However, there was something good that came out of this. The response from the community definitely showed their outpouring of kindness. Cassidy Williams filed this report.
It started out as a typical trip to Target Saturday for 8-year-old Gabe Lyles and his dad TJ, until 3 men walked up and said they were working with the YouTuber Mr. Beast.
Said that they wanted to do a fill the cart challenge where we would be blindfolded. Within 30 seconds, whatever we could put within the cart, they'll pay for.
Mr. Beast is one of Gabe's favorite YouTubers. He often makes videos about challenges where he gives away free stuff. So TJ and Gabe believed that the men were working with Mr. Beast. They both put on a blindfold and started filling their cart. And then TJ heard the men running away.
My heart sank, 100%. The very last thing in this world I want to do is hurt him.
It broke my heart because I thought my dreams were coming true.
The shopping cart challenge was just a mean prank. The men were not affiliated with Mr. Beast, and it was one comment in particular that upset TJ.
My son leaned in and said that he couldn't hear them because he had to wear hearing aids, and they said that's why we are choosing you for this challenge, because of the hearing loss.
So he took to Facebook writing this post, and the community quickly responded. The Southington Town Commission for Persons with Disabilities gave TJ a $200 gift card, and Target matched it. On Sunday, Gabe's dreams of a shopping spree came true.
I pick out Nerf guns, water balloons, and water guns.
But the lesson here isn't about how quickly you can fill your cart.
Made me feel heartwarming and happy.
The lesson is how quickly your day can change with a little kindness.
Well, there is something good that comes out of that.
Yes.
Oh, we are so glad he finally got his shopping spree there. We're going to end today with another live look outside over Punch Bowl. Another beautiful day in Hawaii. We want to thank you all so much for joining us here on This Is Now. Tune in again at 4 o'clock when Ashley's back alongside our Mark Carpenter.